Hello, hello, hello. Good evening, everybody. Hope we're all well. Hope we've had a brilliant weekend. Those of you who joined us on the Oasis weekend, I hope you've recovered. I was out like a log last night, proper sound asleep. But woke up fresh this morning and had a lovely morning with my Monday morning ladies on Zoom, connecting with their crystals. So it was really nice, and a perfect weekend and a perfect day so far. So evening, hi Lucy, hi Carolyn, evening Shardy, and yes. Technically, if we're working on the 7 chakras, then it would be throat today. But as we do this in the physical format as a weekend workshop, then we do the greens on the Saturday, and then we do the pinks on the Sunday. So we do just we are looking at the pinks tonight. So yes, Shardy, it is a pink night. So yes, Adi, so I won't be on live next Monday, so it'll be the Monday after we'll be on the throat. Wow, Shardy, that's brilliant. That is great. And you've had some amazing readings. So yeah, I'm glad you got your 10 hours sleep, because I think a lot of energy needed to settle, and yeah, you needed to absorb all of that was given to you yesterday. So good. I'm glad you had a good night's sleep. That is brilliant. So if we are all here, then I will start on tonight. So we're working up the chakra ladder. So last week we did the greens of the heart, and tonight we're going to look at the higher heart. Hey, Sarah. And so yes, and I do like this one. When we separate the hearts, it all just seems to make sense, and I like it. And to be fair, I would like it to become the 8 main chakras. I think we could do a lot if we included the higher heart and separated the 2 formats. We would be a lot better, mainly for me, because the green is for us. So if we're working with the green energy, we're doing all that on us. Then once we love ourselves and we've worked on ourselves, then we can go up the next level and then work on other people, because so many people out there work on others and put other people's values, self-worth before their own. So it's really, for me, it's so strict that we need to work on us first. Some people think that we can solve our own problems by solving other people's. You know, it depends on the situation and depends on what it is. Sometimes we're just burying our own problems by taking on other people's, and we think that we've dealt with ours, and then a few years down the line it reappears again. So really, really important that we work on ourselves. So tonight we've done all the work on ourselves. We did all that last week, last Monday. So now we're going to the thymus. We're going to the higher heart. And this energy center is the seat of acceptance, compassion, and inner peace, and is the biggest, and is the bridge between the voice of reason. So it's near the throat chakra, the voice of reason, and the heart's emotions. So it's that bridge there. The chakra allows you to vocally express the emotions, positive or negative, generated in the spiritual heart. So again, I like this one because it doesn't have to be all positive. We can express anything that is negative, but then obviously we say that in a gentle, calming way. So the location in the upper chest between the heart and the throat. So your throat chakra is just where you've got that V shape. That's where your throat chakra is. And then you've got your heart chakra there. And for me, I seem to have just a nice little flat area here. I don't know if everybody else has got it, but I've just got a nice flat table here. And that's where I place for the higher heart. So it's situated approximately 3 to 4 inches above the center point between the breasts. This level of spiritual consciousness vibrates through the physical region that contains the thymus gland. And I do like this one as well because it's the only of the higher chakras that is in our physical being. So I really like it, and I like working with this because it really helps you to connect to your higher self, connect to your higher chakras, because you can feel it on the physical level, and then you can resonate with it, then taking it on a higher altitude. Those affirmations. So throughout these weeks, we've been looking at the affirmations, and the mantra for the green, the heart chakra, was I love. The higher heart, the mantra is I relate. So we really look at sentences that has that word in it, or those two words, I and relate. So some of the ones that we have written down is I relate sincerely to others. I relate to and truly forgive those around me. And that's a really important one for me, because when we're relating, when we're connecting, yes, we want to connect on the positives, but we're also connecting on the negatives. So if anyone has done anything to us, we still want that connection of forgiveness. And it's so easy in our mind to sit there, and we could talk to our friends, we could talk to our family about this person, and we could say, oh well, forgiven, forgot, whatever, we can even stalk them on Facebook or other social media outlets and see their face on that picture and just go, I forgive you, I forgive you, I forgive you. And we think it's all done and dusted. And then we have that time where we meet them in person, down the street, in a shop, and being in that energy of that person, woof, you suddenly go, no, have I forgiven you? And it really brings up all that anger, all that rage. So working with the higher heart and relate to and truly forgive those around me. So I relate to those around me and provide compassion. I relate and give love joyfully to others. I relate warmth and generosity to all. So I relate and give warmth and generosity to all. So a really nice words there. But again, look at your individual situations. What do you need to relate to? And again, when we're saying relate, not just to the human energies out there, but to the tree energies, to the animal energies, to the mineral energies, anything at all out there. This is where we're relating to, and we could take it up a notch. It's a higher chakra, so we could take it to the outer worlds, relating to those depending on what it is you are working with. For some people, they may work with angels, and then they might have gone through a little altercation, something might have happened in their lives, and they feel that connection not there. So go back to your higher heart and reconnect, re-relate to the angelic energy. So we're not looking at just human relations here. We're relating to all things, everything. So crystals, the crystals for the higher heart. Surprise, surprise. Okay, my first one on is, oh, that's okay, Dawn. Don't worry about being late. In fact, I was busy doing something before now, and I've just realised I hadn't shared it to my personal page. So, yes. So, rose quartz would be on here. Okay, I have to include it. It's readily available. It's so easy to source, and everybody has a piece of rose quartz around them. So a beautiful stone for this. And I'm saying beautiful because people see on other videos that I don't really connect with rose quartz, but I know so many people out there do. So for the higher heart. So quite a few people give rose quartz to people. And that could be that thread, that could be that line of connection, their way of relating of, I don't know what to do, but have a piece of rose quartz and I'll leave you there. Okay. One of the reasons I don't really work with it very well, and I don't really give it out to people going through a trauma or an emotional time, is the quartz factor in it. And it's pink because of the dilation of iron oxide that's bled through into it. So we've got red energy in this. It's not manganese, like the manganocalcite. It's not the pink energy. This is red energy. So it has that strength. It has that energy of red jasper. So for some people, it can be really strong. And with it blended with the quartz, it can be intense. And I've always said when we're working with anything with quartz, it will take it to your mind as well. It can do. It can bring the clarity and focus to your mind. So if it's something that is on an emotional level and you don't want to take it into the mental area, then rose quartz won't be the stone for that. It will take it up there and it's like, oh God, now I'm thinking of it again. And it can really set some people off. It can be very intense, very strong. But for so many other people, they love it. It's their comfort blanket. It's their comfort tool. And if you're like that, then that is absolutely fine. Yeah, I mean, I would go as close to say that rose quartz is perhaps a Marmite stone. Either you like it or you hate it. So, yeah, it is just that. So if someone's given you rose quartz for an emotional trauma or for an episode that you go through and you think, whoa, you know, because some people want it to be drip fed to them. Not many people can be like, right, bring it on, take it out of me, let's get on with it. People want to take time releasing what it is that is coming through. So if you hold the rose quartz and you feel it's intense, put it down and reach for the next one that we're going to look at. There's two variants of this one. But we're just going to look at the pink calcite. So this is the pink calcite, and there's manganocalcite, which I mentioned briefly with the rose quartz. Now this pink calcite is exactly the same as rose quartz. It's had iron oxide bled into it. So this would have been optical calcite. It would have been white. The iron oxide would have bled through to it, giving it that pink colouring. So with pink calcite, even though this contains the iron oxide like rose quartz, for me, calcite holds you at that area, at that chakra, like this rhombus shape that they form in. It's that pillow, it's that mattress. It just supports you in that area. So pink calcite won't take you to your mind. So okay, you've got the strength because you've got the red energy, the iron oxide going into the calcite, but it's going to keep you in your higher heart, and it's going to help you to relate. It's going to help you to forgive whatever it is that needs to release there. Yes, there might be a bit of strength to it, but it's going to support you. It's going to cleanse you. For me, calcites are the cleansers. Quartz are the clarifiers. But then we can go a next step down, which is the manganocalcite, which has manganese through it. It doesn't have iron oxide. So that is just lovely, soft, spongy. I love manganocalcite. I haven't brought any up with me to show off. But yeah, if you just want to be hugged, if you just want that big duvet to be wrapped around you and just, world, leave me alone while I deal with this grief, while I deal with this trauma, manganocalcite is that. I absolutely love it. Sally, hi Dan, I love rose quartz. I have a whole grid of them in my bedroom. Beautiful, which includes a Kuan Yin, lovely, 4 angels, a Buddha. Very interesting to hear more detail about it though. Yeah, and that is it. I don't ever like to badmouth crystals because they all work with us in an individual way. They all work with us in their own mind. You know, I could go on about how amazing manganocalcite is and how lovely it is, but there'll be some people out there be like, oh, you know, why are you flapping about with all this emotional nonsense? You know, give me a bit of strength and drag it out and get on with your day, you know. So yeah, so I'll never badmouth rose quartz, you know, because it has a beautiful energy and it has a loving energy for those people that resonate with that, and I'm so glad that people do resonate with that, and that is absolutely great. But for some people, if they don't, it's nice to have options there for when they think, actually, this might not be for me. And again, pink calcite is readily available, and as cheap as chips next to rose quartz. So it's not like the alternative is expensive. It's there. So, you know, if anyone is indecisive, grab a piece of pink calcite, grab a piece of rose quartz, and just sit with them. Sit with how you feel with them. I mean, at the end of the day, I can only go by what they say to me and how they react to me. These are my interpretations of the crystals. So, but yeah, go out, experiment, see what you feel with those. I love my mangano. And if you want, and this I love. So rhodochrosite is the next one for the higher heart. Rhodochrosite. And for me, when I connect with rhodochrosite, I just go to a land of candy floss, strawberry milkshake coming from a waterfall with raspberry ripples, a sweet smell. Really brings joy, really brings fun, really connects to your inner child. So we could take this to the sacral chakra, or we could take it to the higher heart, and it's a beautiful, joyful stone. I love it. Really helps you to connect with fun, to relate with fun, to relate with joy. So whatever that means to you. So if you've changed jobs, if the role has changed in your life and you've not been able to do something because you've not got that routine structure. Sometimes when we take on a new thing, all routine goes out of the window because we're having to wait for that energy to settle and go, right, okay, I'm not working this day, or I'm not working at that time of the day, so then I can bring that in. But some of the times we can lose that routine and forget what we used to do and carry on doing what the new norm is. But Road of Christ-like comes in and helps us to relate back to what it is we're missing. If we're getting regimented, if we're getting stagnant, if we're just like, oh God, I feel like I'm stuck in a rut. I feel like I'm just going from A to B, and I'm not going any faster. Road of Christ-like comes in and reconnects us to that love, to that joy. I just love it. Absolutely love it. If there's any relating that we need to do with children, it's a great one to use. So for some of us, we might forget what it's like to be a child. We might forget what it's, the struggles they go through. And it's so easy for us when they come home from school and say something like, chin up, you'll be fine, you'll get through it. Sometimes they need a little bit more deeper meaning for that. So connecting with Road of Christ-like again brings you down to a childlike manner and just allows you to relate to, actually, yeah, that is a big deal for a person of that age. That is a big issue, and allows you to relate to it. It is absolutely, Sally. Absolutely. It is such a delightful crystal. It's just, I love it. It makes me just go all fluffy and yeah, beautiful. I'm glad you agree. So yeah, I love it. And then a beautiful Andean pink opal. Beautiful stone. And I know if Shardy is still with us, she loves her opals, and I love my opals. And I love the Andean pink. So we had the green opals at the heart chakra, and now we've got the Andean pink opal at the higher heart. And at the throat, we'll look at the Andean blue. And those two, the Andean blue and the pink, there is something there that is kind of like a mix between the fire opals and the common opals. And these are somewhere in between that. They have the energy of the common opals, but there is a look about them that relates to the fire opals. There's such a in between, and I love these. And again, if we feel that there is a connection that has been shut off, okay, I'm going to use a relationship for this one. So if a relationship has gone south and you've cut off that connection and gone, thank you very much, goodbye, but you feel that with that connection cut, you don't know how to reconnect with anybody else. You don't know how to connect there, because it's like, yeah, I've already cut that off with that person, but I don't know how to start again with somebody else. Pink opal is great for that. It just allows it to flow. All the opals contain a water content. Between 8 to 10% of all opals contain water. They are petrified water. So don't leave them out in the sun for too long, because the sunshine can dry them out and leave them very brittle, and they can break quite easily by being out in the sun for a long time. So that water flow will allow you to flow and reconnect or connect with people, because sometimes when we cut off our cords, we may still need that cord to connect to another energy. So sometimes we might get a little stuck of, oh, how do we do that? Or when we think, actually, that is it. I'm running off to the monastery. I'm running off to the convent. I'm going to be a nun. I'm going to be a monk. I don't want to know about those people anymore. You know, if we feel like giving up, and pink opal allows us to reconnect and go, no, just because that person was that and that person was that doesn't mean the next person's going to be like that. So keeping you trusting, keeping that faith in you. I love pink opal for that. It's a brilliant one. Love it, love it, love it. And not as much as I love this next one. If we're working with the higher heart and we want to bring it from the physical into the spiritual, then kunzite will do that. And out of all of these, even though I love my opals, I think out of all of these, kunzite is my favorite. I love this. And again, as I said at the beginning in the introduction, if we feel that we have lost that connection, or the connection may have changed frequency, and we can no longer feel like we're attached to the higher realms, to the angels, spirit guides, past loved ones, kunzite will bring that. In the raw form, kunzite has those striations, like we see in black tourmaline, like we see in danbarite and blue kyanite. So the energy is direct. No mucking, no messing. You want to connect to upstairs? Let's bring kunzite, and it just allows you to open up. Okay. So that voice of reason, the heart's, the emotions from the heart, and allows us to connect right up there. So it is really great, really beautiful. For me, there is a very, very personal link to kunzite with me, and to those on the other side, which I always share, because I know that there is so many people out there who have regrets when people have passed over. They've never got to say goodbye, or they never got to say something to them. Kunzite for me really allows that to happen. When I spent the final week with my mum before she passed, we did a lot, we spoke a lot, but the one thing I forgot was to thank her for being such an amazing mum, and for teaching me all that I know and all that I can do. So that really bothered me, that I never thanked her for that. But kunzite allowed that. Kunzite allowed me to connect up there, to feel her energy, and to say thank you. And kunzite actually made me realize that then wasn't the time to thank. It is now. Now that she has passed, I truly realize what she did for me and how well she did that. So every day that I wake up, it's a day to be thankful for my mum being a mum. So for me, it's a very personal energy when I work with kunzite, because it helps that. So if anyone out there struggles and goes, oh God, I wish that person knew how I felt or what I needed to say, use kunzite, and allow that bridge to form, allow that connection to be there, and send those words. It's never too late to say you're sorry. It's never too late to say I love you. It's never too late to say thank you. Whatever it is you want to discuss with those that have passed over, I couldn't recommend kunzite enough for that. Okay, yes, it is an expensive crystal. It's not the cheapest out there, but the energy it brings, the love it brings, and everybody who's come to the heart workshop has really appreciated kunzite being on the table. They've really appreciated connecting with kunzite, and when I put them in a grid of kunzite, they just love it. Love it, love it, love it. So definitely for me, on a spiritual level, kunzite I love. Very closely to danburite for the spiritual side of things. Those two will always be with me. Love it. And then finally, we have watermelon tourmaline. So I brought this into the heart workshop, and we do connect with this last, because at the end of our connections, it's nice to tie up the pink and the green, and it just ties in the whole weekend together, having the green tourmaline with the pink tourmaline. And out of all of the crystals that are green and pink, for me, watermelon tourmaline was the one that was the highest in the spiritual form. So ruby and fuchsite, I would still keep that in the heart, in the green center. Ruby and zuisite, atlantisite, for me, they're very much there. Watermelon tourmaline is so high up there. And again, a beautiful energy to work with. And if we're working with a stone that contains the pink and the green, and then I know ruby technically isn't pink, it is red, but I always find when it's mixed with the green, it dilutes it to a pink. And when we work on the heart with the pink and the green, we get a dual aspect. The pink takes out, and as I said quite a lot last week, the green puts back in. So anything that is blocked, anything that needs releasing on an emotional side or on a physical side, if anything needs to go, the pink tourmaline will go with that. It will allow that to go. But it's always important that we replace that energy with something positive, which the green tourmaline will provide. So a nice positive energy there to come back into. So a beautiful, beautiful stone. This has also got lots of everything. It's also got lepidolite on it, cleavandite on it. It's a bit of a showcase, this piece. I love it. But the tourmaline is down the bottom there. So it is a beautiful piece there. So yeah, again, belonging in the spiritual half of the higher heart. Tourmaline is there, but also we will discuss that a little bit more tomorrow night, because we've got Carol Thornycroft coming on, and she's talking about angels, and she's going to be giving out her ideas on what crystals link with angels. So she sent me the list over, so I know watermelon and tourmaline is on there. So I thought, oh, that's funny. That is funny. So they're the crystals that we can work with on the higher heart. And again, there are so many more, so many more. And when we get to the higher chakras, because we're now working on the spiritual half of the main chakras, the base, the sacral, the solar plexus, they're the physical chakras. The heart is the center. And then from that on, we go into the spiritual half of the chakra ladder. So I do tend to keep these crystals to the color. I don't really mix and match. With the physical ones, I brought in other colors, but with these, I tend to keep them all pinks. I've not really thrown a curveball in that. The signs of an imbalanced higher heart chakra. So we could be looking at inability to express emotions. We can have a lack of compassion, lack of self-acceptance, the fear of spirituality or higher spiritual realms, and the feeling of betrayed or bitter, again coming into that I relate to and truly forgive those around me. That affirmation there would sit nicely if we couldn't take that affirmation to the higher heart. There may be some betrayal there. There might be something bitter there. And for me, pink opal should be able to cleanse that, should be able to work on that, or the calcites. We certainly wouldn't want the quartz going there because we wouldn't want to bring focus to it. We don't want the clarity there. We want to feel that and go, right, release that. The lack of self-acceptance or the lack of compassion, we might bring rose quartz there. And it's quite interesting when we do the Aya Heart, everybody loved the rose quartz. Everybody heard of the rose quartz. So everybody was like, yeah, rose quartz, rose quartz. I use rose quartz for this and I use rose quartz for that. When we, at the end of the day, when we go through the signs of an imbalanced higher heart, and I asked the guys, what crystals do you think we could use for the inability to express emotions? What crystals would you use for lack of compassion? What crystals would you use for lack of self-acceptance out of the 6 that they're connected with, the 6 that we've gone through this evening? And I think it got to lack of self-acceptance before anybody said rose quartz. They were saying all the other ones that they've learnt, that they've connected with, that they gelled with, they were all coming out. And I was just like, yes. That's when I know the light bulb moment has happened. And they've, by bringing in other pinks, it's opened their minds up to so many more options. And that's the idea of bringing that amount of crystals to a workshop, is to give people a backhander, to give people a second option of, okay, no longer do I just go for that. I can now think, go, do I need that? Or can I bring that in instead? So having the options out there is a lot better. And the high heart imbalance. So when we've got a balanced higher heart, we are able to receive love and give it joyfully to the others. Moreover, this chakra allows us to care about and connect sincerely with billions of other individuals, creating a web of connections that have not been possible before. And so I love that. And for me, I feel that the connections, the more we connect, the higher we go, the further that goes. So, you know, starting with the web, starting with the center. So the center, it could be your family, it could be your friends. By connecting, relating to those, you know, receiving their love and returning it back to them joyfully, connecting to them, we can then expand that, feel that goodness, and oh yes, we can expand now. And before you know it, you're connected to strangers. You are connecting, you're relating to them. And then you can open up to the plants, to the animals, to the energies, the elements, and just allow it all to expand. So that, excuse me. So that is the little bit about the higher heart chakra and a little bit about the crystals that we work with. Obviously, we go so much more in depth when we do the full day. We've got the practical side of things as well as when we do that. So is there any questions at all about any of those crystals, any of the affirmations, anything that we've covered? I hope that was helpful. As I said, I'm not going to be on live next Monday, so it will be the Monday after that I'll be back on, and we'll talk about the throat chakras. Talk about the throat chakra and the 6 crystals we work with there. And then we'll go on to the third eye. Then we go on to the crown. And then that's it for the 7 main chakras. Obviously, we've already introduced the higher chakra. And then we go into the higher chakras. And I know there is so many names, so many thoughts and views on there because they're very new. I think it was 2012 that they started to come through. So there's a lot out there. For me, we've got the 7 main chakras. So we then work with 7 higher chakras. I've already given you one. I've given you the higher heart. So when we look at the higher chakras, we go back down again and we go to the earth star. Put our roots in deeper. Make sure we anchor in a little bit more because we're going to then go higher. So then after the earth star, we then go to the soul star. Then we go to the spirit chakra. Then we'll go to the universal chakra. Then we look at the galactic chakra. Then we go into the divine gateway. So they're the 5 up chakras, 6 including the earth star, 7 including the higher heart. For me, that's the way I've looked at them. That's the way I've been drawn to them, to keep them. I like balance. So if I've got 7 main, I want to have 7 higher. So that's what we're going to look at after we've looked at the 7 main ones and the crystals that we use for those. So yeah, thank you all so much for joining. As before, this will be saved on Dan Rocks on the business page and also Dan Rocks Rockbox on YouTube. So it's there for people to relay and to go back to. I did do this right at the beginning of the first lockdown, but unfortunately we did it on my personal page, not business page, so it doesn't save. So this is why I'm going through it again to go through that. You're very welcome, Sally, and really nice for you to be here. Thank you, Dawn. Pink Opal, Kunzite, you can't go wrong, sweetheart. Thank you. Thank you, Shardy. I must hook up. And thank you, Lucy. Cheers. We should be. The thing is, I'm going on live on Thursday evening on UK Serenity. We're talking about Movember. We're talking about testicular cancers. So the male panel is coming on to represent and to talk about that. So I will be on there. I am going to look into squeezing a new moon altar. So bear with me. I don't know when that's going to happen, but it will happen. It will happen at some point. Okay, but have a great week, guys. Don't forget tomorrow night we've got a special guest, Carol Thornycroft. We're going to be talking about angels particularly Metatron and his cube, and she's going to be discussing crystals that we can use to link in, to connect with those angels. So I'm really excited about that. As people know, that I use the same method to connect with our spirit animal guides, which is what Crystal Cornucopia is all about on UK Serenity Radio that I do on a Thursday night. So it'd be nice to hear someone doing that with the angels. So join us tomorrow night at 7 for that. Wednesday, we've got our market. Again, it's another sale. We need it more than ever now. So we're doing the sales. That will be at 7 o'clock. Thursday, again, I'm going to be live on Serenity, hoping somewhere around that there could be an alter grid. And Friday, we've got the crystal quiz on Zoom. So feel free to join us in on any of that. But if not, have a brilliant week. Catch up with you all soon. Bye-bye.